is Yerushalmi Berachos Daf Yud in the Daf Yomi Yerushalmi cycle. And yesterday we got up to the second line on Yud Testament Aleph, Ad Yasna Ad Vishnantam. So we'll start from right after that, right in morning. So the Gemara says, Raimani B'Shum Rabbi Yehuda Amar. The money said name Rabbi Yehuda who said, Mishum Rabbi Yehuda name Rabbi Yehuda. And Mehiv Sik Ba Today. I want to point out something which is in the Bible true. Also, whenever it says Mishum, it usually skips generations. In other words, the money Rabbi Yehuda are not necessarily one after Talmud and Rebbe and Talmud, but skips generations. And so you will find Rabbi Yehuda saying Mishum Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai or something. So he says, if you interrupted Shema and you were mafsik, even seemed with silence, right? It's Pashas what we're talking about here. For the amount of time it would take to say Shema, so you're not Yotze. You have to go back and read it from the beginning. Halach Raimina Shamar Shum Rabbi Yehuda. Halach is this way, like Raimina said the name Rabbi Yehuda Shamar Shum Rabbi Yosef Lili. The Gilin Ashar says Halach Rabbi Muna Vanakama Kashasti Lon Vayen Beisos Simon Samachay Simon etc. Was then a Chon Hadi Shmita Poskim Hach Bias Yerushalmi. Who v'lo brachas, whatever question Yerushalmi is about to ask are not brought down in the poskim. V'lo yikim hach the bekorei misharina. All brings down is that we reckon by the person who's doing the reading of the Shema. And then he goes on. The Shah says, skipping it down a little bit. The Shum the Kavon, the low kaima lank Rabbi Muna. We don't hold like him with Das Arifa Rambam with Yimei. After Shok they league more in a choser, even if he in the conclusion of the Bavli, even if he lapsed enough time that he could have said it during that period of silence, he'll go back to the beginning. But after that, so Sarmikuti, even according to the Sarmikuti, who Mikomakom came in the Eirak, which is when the Bavli Tosis, Komakom came in the Eirak Sopek, the Bible usually. We're not sure if he has to go back or not. So they said you can make it and don't have to go back. Rak bahad the bakori misharinon kibshat kan the tavas rama lach mirbo. So only this issue specifically of that we go by the korei. Meaning that because there is a distinction in the Bavli when halacha between when you're mafsik on your own volition, or whether you're compelled to be mafsik. Mafsik your own volition, according to halacha, it doesn't matter how long the hefsek is. If you're mafsik because of you're an onus of some compelling reason, which means that during the time you couldn't have read Shema, went to the bathroom or something. So then the halacha of Rabbi Muna does apply in that case. And the question is what's going to be hefsek, and that we go according to the Koreh. Okay, getting back to the Gemara here. Even though the Gemara passes like Rabbi Mina, we don't pass like Rabbi Mina because Bavli does not. Rabbi Yochanan Shimon Yitzchak Abba Hal b'Kriyas Megillah again. Rabbi Yochanan Shimon Yitzchak said same principle applies to Hal and Kriyas Megillah. Abba by Rav Huna by Rav Chisda by Yasmin. The Rabbi Rav Huna and Rav Chisda were sitting. I mean, they said Apit Kiske should be sitting by the Kriyas Shofar. If there's about the hefsek in Kriyas Shofar, if you was mafsik time enough to complete it, you should have to go back. Second base Rav Shimon by Shamun, they went to house of Rav and they heard that Rav Huna was named Rav Huna. Rav Huna said name Rav Huna. Afilu Shaman Atesha Shos Yotza. Even if you heard 9 shofar blasts, it's really 10, tashrat, tashat, tarat, over the course of 9 hours, you're yotze. In other words, they don't actually have to be juxtaposed to each other. There's no issue of hefsek. At least in silence. So when you have sake, you're not supposed to be mafsik b'dibur, but so that's not a problem. Amar Rabbi Zir, Adana Taman Tzrichali. Zir said, well, I was in Bavel, I wasn't sure about this. Got Salik, but when I got here to Eretz Yisrael, Shammai said, Rabbi Yashim, Rabbi Yashim said, Afilu Shema Kol Yom Yotza. Even if you heard that over the course of the entire day, you're Yotzei. Bushu Yosham, and I will say there, even as long as you hear them in the proper order. Rabbi Yossi Hava, Rabbi Yossi asked, Zed Tzarich Pshuta Harishona. Zed Pshuta Achrona. One person needs the Pshuta Harishona, is the kia before the Shvorim Tshuva. And the other person needs the Zed Tzarich Pshuta Achrona, he needs the kia after the Shvorim Tshuva. So kia achas motzia yidei. So one kia is motzi both of them. Whoever needs it, use it for what they need it. And I blew this because yesterday I said, I think it was yesterday, that boy in Yerushalmi is often a statement, not a question. Here's a statement. Yossi boy, Rabbi Yossi expressed the following thought. Period. Is it velobi or Krishna b'chosel, or he velo b'chosel, or b'chosel velo he? Which one is it? So the name Moshe says Krishna b'chosel. How do you mean him? They ligmar's kula. That which it says if you interrupted enough to finish the entire thing. Lo yotzei na yotzei. My imkula the kamar. What's the entirety? How Krishna b'chosel does mean Krishna with the brachas. Or we will without the Krishna without the brachas, or if you can learn about or even just to say the brachas without Shema itself. The Gemara does not give an answer. Gemara goes on. Hivsik shlisha, the chazir sik shlisha, the karam shem b'chol adam shirina. This is the question with the issue which the Shas brought down. And Bnei Moshe says hivsik shlisha klomar im hivsik im lo hivsik b'avsaka achas Gemara skula. You didn't have one interruption, which would be suffice to finish the entire thing. Here's the more shlish, but yeah, you did one interruption, which was enough to finish the third. The car, and then you continue reading. Because you see shlish, and that you did another interruption, which was the third. And then afterwards, Maushi Starful Avsaka Kadesh Shir Kula, so we join Avsakas for the entire Shir, the Lo Ivshtu Ari Bios. These questions have not been resolved. Are not resolved here. So he was shlisha again. He was shlisha. Going back to Marcos, I think I put together two things inadvertently. He was shlisha. One thing is he was shlisha because of his shlisha. What's the halacha? That's one question. The next question is to go by the person who's the specific person's reading or the pace of any person. Have a generic person, average person. That's another question. Raimasa does resolve this question. It goes by the subjective person, the reading Shema this time. Okay, what about I read Shema and I pass through dirty alleys where it's an onus, where I'm compelled to stop. And I interrupt. Do I am I fulfilling my obligation? So he said Avo B'ni. This the Yerushalmi probably did adopt that if you're going to Mavos and Tunafim, so it's not biyotcha to eliminate the half-sake. So then, if you're mafsik enough to finish Shema, you're not yotzei. Rabbi Eliezer saw Mevakar Rabbi Shimon bar Abba. Eliezer went up to visit, literally, he removed himself, uprooted himself to visit Rabbi Shimon bar Abba. Amar late, so Rabbi Shimon bar Abba asked Rabbi Eliezer, begin on a tashish, since I'm weak. When I carry Shema Mistam, I read Shema and I start dozing off in the middle. You don't have to be old for that to happen to you. You don't have to wait for that to happen to you. Am I fulfilling my obligation? He said yes, you are fulfilling the obligation, even though you doze off a bit in the middle. Rabbi Yirmiyah boy, come Rabbi Zira. So Rabbi Yirmiyah asked for Rabbi Zira, what was when Rabbi Eliezer said in? Eliezer said in, you're yotzei. What was this? What was going on here? Yad Rabbi Shimba Abba medaktik mitzvah sakin horele because he knew that Rabbi Shimon Bar Abba was very meticulous in mitzvahs, and that's a paskin. The so the look Moshe says time mitzvahs sakin horele. Klomar im masha uro lo shetzei chovaso. If that we tell him was he was Yosef's obligation. I forgot Masio even interrupts. Horazu Adinahu. This is a psak halacha. She yodesh the b'shim ba'abba medaktik harbe mitzvahs. Yosef Rabba is very meticulous about mitzvahs. Umachmi atzmo, and he's stringent with himself. I feel like lo kach. And nevertheless, he ruled leniently for him. So in Cain la'aloch see Rebbe Lezer Cain. Let's say Rebbe Lezer holds that way, right? Because if this medaktik mitzvahs, he passed in this way. Or the flip side is says Gemara begin to tashish because he's weak. Hore Rabbi Hore lay he passed this way. And Pnei Moshe continues, Oldima Mishud Rabbi Shimba Tash Koach, who he was weak, V'loya Rotzel Atricho. You want to cause him to force himself to stay up, to not to doze off. Pilia Mekalo, but there was the leniency, it's a kula. Have a Ladina. But according to strictly Rebbe Lezer, but I've seen it hold that way for other people who are not weak. So Amalei Feirush clean Rebbe Pligan. They argue explicitly. Rebbe Lezer Mar Yotzei. Rebbe Lezer says you are Yotzei. Yechon Bar Lo Yotzei. Rebbe Yechon says you are not Yotzei. This is Rebbe Lezer giving the psak here. My plea. What do they argue? B'kriyasha Neshu is plucking. They argue they say by creation of is Mako because anyway it's divided in sections. So therefore, the fact he goes over the middle is just sectioning a bit more, but it is divided into sections, so that's not a problem. Or Avobal Megrias Megillah, perhaps I have because we have Rabbi Lezer Moide. Since it's one unit, there are no interruptions, there are no places to stop. Perhaps he's Moide in that case. That if you fell asleep, you're not going to be Yotzei the Chi of you got to be Yotzei Shema, and you have to go back again. I want to go back for a moment and note in the case of begin to have a Toshish Harley, that line. So the Stipler says a little bit different than Pnei Moshe, not significantly different than Pnei Moshe. Moshe says maybe it was a leniency because he was weak. Stipler says since he was weak, that's important from Shema. And therefore, the fact that he told Rabbi Lezer he can fall asleep in the middle is because he was Potter Mikradin since he was weak. So therefore, same thing. Even more so, we can extrapolate from that case where he passed that way for him because he was weak for any other case. Okay, let's go further. Tani, we learned. We're going on to another issue. We left that issue open. We're going to another issue. Tani, Ashol B'Shalom Rabo. If somebody needs to inquire of the health or give a greeting to his Rebbe or somebody who's greater than him in Torah, he has permission to do so. This teaches if you're allowed to do it in Shema, during Shema, it must be that you're supposed to inquire of the health or say greet a person who's greater than you in Torah. And also from this, we hear we're going to say also that from here we're going to see that also that person's to give say Shalom Alecha Rabbi Umori to his Rebbe because it says the Tani. You decree on somebody you thought he was dead. Turns out he wasn't dead. His soul came back. I was saying a gasp. I was saying like that. Im alasar and then and then he died again. Although it's not explicit here. But he died. He did kriya. He came back to life briefly, and then he died again. Im alasar ain't certainly kra. So if it's immediate, You don't have to do another kriya. Im achazman tzarich likra. If it's after, if he died sometime later, you have to do a second kriya. The kama, so what's considered to be immediate, on the spot, literally. Kedei dibur. Kedei dibur. The kama kedei dibur. Kedei dibur dami. The kama who kedei dibur. How much is kedei dibur? Rabbi Simon Yerushal ben Levi kedei sheila sholem ben amachavero. In order to inquire of your friend's health, to greet him. Avar charav b'shem Rabbi Yosef kedei sheila sholem ben a rav l'talmid. Between the Rebbe and the Talmud, it's the Talmud and the Rebbe. V'yomar lo sholem alecha Rabbi. I should say to his Rebbe, sholem alecha Rabbi. So if that's the case, that comes out that the person has to inquire of his inquire after the health of his Rebbe, or and therefore, if you decrease the amount of time took the dibur, that time it takes to say hello to your Rebbe and come back, because that's a legitimate interruption, and therefore, if you only interrupt that much, you don't have to go back to the beginning. You can just go further on. So now we have a mitzvah which appears several times in the Yerushalmi. You don't have a mistamach Rabbi Yaakov Be'idi. Yochanan was walking, and he was supporting himself on Rabbi Yaakov Be'edi's shoulder, whatever. Rabbi Yaakov Be'idi was supporting him. Via Rabbi Lezer Chamele, Rabbi Lezer saw Rabbi Yochanan, Umatamri Kadame, and he used to hide. He didn't show himself to Rabbi Yochanan. But Rabbi Yochanan saw it. He noticed it. Amar Hotatimile, Hodaim Bavlia Avid. That's two things that this Babylonian, was made Aliyah from both Eretz Yisrael, the two things which Rabbi Yochanan resented. Chada lo shlo b'shlemi. One is that here he hid and didn't come to say hello to me. Didn't inquire for my help. Chada lo mar shmutza b'shmin. Also, in the base medrash, Eliezer gives opinion. He gives opinion as if it says he doesn't attribute it to me. So I have two kindness on him. Amalei kach inu nagin gabehen. That is the so he said that is the minhag by Bnei Bavel. Zero lo shalma b'shalma the rabbah. A younger person does not inquire after the health and greet the older person. It's considered to be a lack of derech eretz. Dinam kaimin, they fulfill the pasuk which says, "Ra'uni the arim b'nechbo." The children saw me and they hid themselves because they're afraid of me. So here too, Rabbi Lezer has this ema of his Rabbi Yochanan. That's why he hid. It's not for lack of covet, on the contrary, it's much more covet. Mimahalchi chamil echad beis medrash. Here they're walking on the road and they saw a beis medrash. So Rabbi Yochanan said, "I'm like, oh, hachav Yossi Rabbi Meir." In this beis medrash, Rabbi Meir would say Yossi Darsh. He would say in Darshan. B'amar Shmuel, I mean Shmei Rabbi Shmuel. He would say Shmuel's in other words. Statements. Rabbi Shmuel v'lo amar Shmuel. So he didn't hear things that he heard. Say things that he heard. Statements which made Rabbi Akiva. So actually, it sounds like that Rabbi Yaakov bar Ibdi said this to Rabbi Yochanan. The end result is the same. But let's assume Rabbi Yaakov said to Rabbi Yochanan. And he said, this is Rabbi Meir's darshan. And he said, same name was Shmuel, not named Rabbi Akiva. So it's a question. Why didn't it say things name of Rabbi Akiva? Amalei, he didn't have to. Rabbi Meir told me Rabbi Akiva. Because everybody knows that Rabbi Meir was a town Rabbi Akiva. That's what Rabbi Yochanan says. He didn't have to say the name of Rabbi Akiva because it was understood. It was assumed. So now Rabbi Yossi again, Rabbi Yaakov Be'idi pounced on this. He said, "I'm a little clear. I'm Rabbi Lezer tell me Rabbi Yochanan." So he everybody knows that he's your Talmud. So therefore, everybody assumes. Just like Rabbi Akiva, a man didn't have to say the name Rabbi Akiva, because everybody assumed his name Rabbi Akiva. So Rabbi Elazar doesn't have to say his name, because everybody assumes they got it's a name, Rabbi Yochanan. So Rabbi Yaakov is not finished yet. He asked Rabbi Yochanan a question. What is the story? Do I have to can I go in front of an idol, an avodah zarah? This is the Pnei Moshe indicates every time was the name of a certain avodah zarah which is on the road. In the second paragraph of Shloim, it says Arurei Akum, cursed avodah zarah places. In any event, do I have to go out the other side, like we say by Nazir, to detour from in front of it, or not? So, what? You got to pack, give it, it says, why would you do that? That's giving an honor, or it's giving a being deferential to cross the street from in front of it. So go in front of it and close your eyes, don't look. Amalei. So Yosef Yaakov said, got you. Rabbi Lezer Yosef ad lo bar kumich. Rabbi Lezer doing good, it's not passing in front of you. That's his deference. He's afraid of you. So therefore, to show that Moira, which you don't want us to show that by the Zara, Rabbi Lezer hides himself when he sees you. Amar. So he said, Rabbi Yochanan said, Rabbi Yaakov bar Ide yoda atlafayes. How can you know how to appease me? Make me feel better about this. Rabbi Yochanan boy, the yemuch must mean mishmei. Rabbi Yochanan wanted people to say things in his name. David also down this said, "Agurcha bolamim, agurcha bolamcha. I should live in your house forever." A little further, Prince Rabbi Yochanan b'chiyolas David yuchai la'olam. Did David think that was the end of David's fight is going to live forever? He'll live forever. Elamar David, rather than David said, "Ezkeh, I should merit sheyu divine namarim ashubat knesset b'zim midrashos." That they should say things over in my name in the shuls and in the Bate Medrash. Now, we're in the middle of the discussion, but we're already on the top of Chaf Rav, so we'll stop here for today.